Just to give you a brief history, back in May, Memorial Day weekend, we did have a similar event at the Highland Manor nursing home. The temperatures reached on the upper floor, the third floor, in excess of 100 degrees in many of the rooms. The city did violate the nursing home operators, and no evacuation took place at that time, but the issue is still pending in court. As you know, this past weekend, we had a similar incident. I was contacted, and the fire department was contacted late Friday evening. I spoke with the county executive 7 a.m. Saturday morning. We developed a plan, a potential evacuation plan for the facility, and decided that we would be approaching the facility manager, that if the repair hasn't been made in a very short period of time, that the city would have to evacuate the building, and the county executive agreed to take whatever legal action was necessary in county court to have a judge order the evacuation. The original plan was that the repair would be made by 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. That was what was represented to myself through our inspectors, and that did not happen. So we then began the evacuation plan. We spoke with Faith, the managing director there, and Faith advised us that they would do a voluntary evacuation rather than a mandatory evacuation. First, I need to thank the staff of the Middletown Fire Department, Chief Barone and his department, and especially Adam McCary, our fire inspector, also Lieutenant Welch of the Middletown Police Department, the State Office of Emergency Management, who also assisted, Dan Higbee in Mid-City Transit, and of course the county executive for their quick response. Evacuating 92 people in such a short period of time during a thunder and lightning storm certainly was a tremendous feat, and I think they should all be applauded for their efforts. Our goal is to reassure family members that we are looking out for their best interests, the best interests of not only the clients and the residents of the facility, but also the employees of the facility. The action taken to evacuate was the right one, and both the county executive and myself believed it at that day, and we still believe that. The city court issue back in May focused on 3 areas. One was property maintenance code, one was the mechanical code, and also the fire code. The state health department will have to speak to their issues if they have any remaining. Our focus has been, since May, to have any of the remaining, to have the air conditioning systems and units replaced, thus avoiding another incident. Obviously that didn't work back in May, and we did have another incident this past weekend. Plus we wanted to address the other city code violations, such as the elevator failures. The lawyers, the city attorneys, Alex Smith, and city personnel met yesterday with ownership representatives, and the ownership of the facility has agreed to do the following, and I believe some of it has already been completed. All of it has been completed. The current unit of the air conditioning system at St. Teresa's, or the former St. Teresa's, now Highland Manor home, is a 70-ton unit. There are 2 units there. One has failed, one has been operational. So basically they've been operating from what I understand to be at 50% of the maximum that they've had in the past. They have replaced the system with a 200-ton maximum, 100-ton usable right now, temporary chiller out in the back of the current nursing home. They have agreed to monitor this with a local engineering firm, Fellenzer Engineering, who were brought in by the city to do an evaluation and also to continue monitoring the systems as we progress. The Highland Manor has agreed to design a new system which will begin immediately, and installation of the system will be made this fall when weather breaks. To start installing one now and designing one now would only keep people out of the nursing home, out of Highland Manor, for a longer period of time. At this point, all city code issues have been addressed, and at the end of my presentation, Adam and others will be available to address any specific questions on the violations and on the solutions. In regards to the evacuation, the Highland Manor evacuation plan did not contain any relationship with any bus company that would allow for a free flow of the evacuation. This is something we've seen similar, and they've had, other nursing homes have had letters of intent or agreements with with the bus companies, and Highland Manor has now signed a letter of understanding with Mid-City Transit regarding any future emergencies, something that we required and they agreed. One thing I want to assure everyone is, first and foremost, our goal was to protect residents and employees of this facility as we would any vulnerable population. Our intervention was right and justified. Our team at this point has inspected the facility as recently as this morning, and the facility has been cleared for occupancy. The city's role was not intended to be punitive, but we demanded corrective action to a very serious situation, and this has happened. The focus beginning today is to get those residents back into the Highland Manor and close to the families and bring the employees back to work. And just to add on the employee issue, they did a tremendous job. We couldn't ask more from the employees and the management staff on hand at Highland Manor. Highland Manor has begun the plans for transferring all patients back to the facility, as when I spoke to their attorney, Neil, just a short while ago. All systems are working, all mechanical systems are working. The systems will be monitored by staff and be reporting to the city inspectors, and also by the outside engineering firm. Design work for the new system is underway, and a target date for the new system is this fall. So at this point, the only outstanding issues are the court issues, which are not resolved. They will be resolved by the city in the office, or in the city court. We're probably going to postpone this hearing on this Thursday, and the reason being we'll probably try to postpone it until after all the systems have been completed, because we would want a court order from the judge in order to ensure that Highland Manor complies with everything that they've done so far. The temporary chiller is working. It has more capacity than what they had previous to this past weekend. So, and the other issues have been addressed, and as I said, Adam will be available. At this point, I'd like to introduce our county executive. As I said, I spoke with him first thing at 7 o'clock in the morning. He put his team into place and was very helpful in helping us resolve the situation. Steve Newhouse.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say a couple of quick things. I want to first thank the mayor and your staff, and Adam, you front and center on Saturday. This was no easy task. Removing 92 senior citizens or people that had disabilities on a Saturday in 90+ degree weather in a heat wave was really not an easy thing. We had a meeting this morning with my Department of Health, Social Services, Office of the Aging, and what we're going to put together is an after-action report, probably utilizing input from your staff as well, Mayor, because other places around the state are asking us how it went well, what worked, what didn't work. The reason why I want to bring up one other thing, at the end of last year, they closed a nursing home in Rockland County, their county-run facility. Over the 30 to 45 day period when they closed that facility, about 20% of their residents passed away during the move. So on Saturday, what we witnessed, the gentleman behind me, the mayor and his staff, was upset. Some of the reporters in the room were there. People crying in tears, stressed. It is not something you want to put on a individual that's either elderly and is on some type of medication or on some type of assistance. We have people on oxygen. We had to put together with these professionals behind me ambulances last minute. We had to put together the buses that the mayor talked about. This is not an easy thing, and it's not something that is not impacted on those patients. And if you wanted to see the photos or talk to some of these places, it was heartbreaking. So what we want to do now, the mayor and I spoke yesterday, we spoke this morning. I'm behind them 100%. The county attorney's office, I told them to on standby if they need to back the city attorney's office up, if we need to go to court. Thankfully, everybody seems to be cooperating. And I'll say one last thing. All the emergency workers did a great job, but I will say that the staff at Highland, the nurses, and everybody really rogered up. They were very cooperative with us. They were very accommodating to the patients. So I will say that I think that the nurses and the staff there did care about the people there. It was just about getting that facility to be in standard. So that's all I have to say.